Welcome everyone to Politics and Political Institution. This is what we'll be talking in today's video. The agenda, the nature of politics and the institution thereof. I'm talking about political institution. The nation state crisis, remember, in terms of siege, in terms of terrorism, in terms of some kind of natural disaster. We are in a state of crisis. Political institution is a global point of view, the perspective of political institutions and the military institution thereby. That is the reason why I'm showing it to you. Military is where the might is, the power is all about it, and many countries are serving under military rule. So, power, politics, and authority. Harold Laswell defined politics as the process of determining who gets what, when, and how much quantity, when, what timing, and what the power, the resources at their disposal. Power is the ability to control the behaviors of others even against their will. That means forcibly. Authority is an institutional power, power whose exercise is governed by the norms and status of the organization. Political and military institutions of US, if I may say so. See what is happening with it. We have the state, the government, as in the major institution, the executive, legislative, judicial, military, and national security. What are we looking as a key example for executive? The president and his advisor, the cabinet. The legislative is the US Senate, the US House of Representatives, the members of parliament, the parliament thereof. Judicial is the US Supreme Court, federal courts, and the state courts. Military, the armed forces, and the national guards. We are talking about national security, the FBI, CIA, the local police force. And then comes the civil politics, all about political parties and interest groups. The Democratic Party and Republican Party. In US, there are only two major parties. And the interest groups out there, the National Organization for Women and the National Rifle Association. Now, this is what we are talking about, the civil organization, political organization, and the state, how the state functions thereby. Weber's type of authority. Authority, there are, according to Weber, with the three types of it. One is traditional, the next is charismatic authority, and the last one is the legal authority by the venture, by the value that you are occupying a particular position. So traditionally, we are talking about tribal chiefs, absolute monarchs. Charismatic authority is Mahatma Gandhi or Joan of Arc per se. Legal authority is president, prime minister, by virtue of the position that they occupy. Citizenship, these new citizens at the swearing in ceremony have had to demonstrate knowledge of basic English, awareness of the rights and responsibilities of an US citizen. Now, these are the various people who have contributed and wanted to become the citizen of the US. And they have to take a pledge. And this is the pledge photograph that I'm trying to tell it to you. There are people from different mixed races and different background, in fact, from different continents altogether. So, rights of citizenship include civil rights, political rights, and social rights. Political parties. Political parties are the organizations of people who join together to gain a legitimate control over the state authority. Parties that seek legitimate power and accept the rule of other legitimate parties from loyal opposition. And that is what we are trying to go around it. Revolutionary political parties do not view the state as a legitimate. In fact, they are the rebel in the group and do not seek authority through legitimate procedures. In fact, they would be serving their own form of justice per se. So, democratic political system must meet the following condition. The political culture legitimizes democratic system, as in the leaders are supposed to be a representative of the people or the citizen that they represent. They are supposed to be elected and not selected. One set of political leaders holds an office. One or more sets of leaders do not hold the office but act as a legitimate opposition as what is going right and what is going wrong. You see this photograph of Abraham Lincoln, and this is the historic photograph, in fact, monumental places to visit in Washington, D.C. Small parties in representative system. It is like a tea party, a political party, or a political party, or both of it. All the popular political figures seeks its support. The Tea Party has remained a rather loosely organization, which is organized by conservative social movement rather than the registered political party with an official stamp of leadership. But this could change as the next president elections are near. We talk about the typologies of regimes, the liberal democracy, example US, example Canada, example Great Britain, France, Brazil, Japan. Emergent democracies, example Chile, Ivory Coast, Mali, Haiti, Morocco, Tunisia, Philippines. Communist regimes are examples of China, North Korea, Cuba are example of communist regime per se. We'll talk about the nationalist socialist regime as in Iraq, Libya, Tanzania, and Syria. Authoritarian nationalism regime is Nazi Germany, a contemporary Zimbabwe. Um, uh, but probably now Zimbabwe has progressed towards democracy or is in a transition state. Military regime is Sierra Leone or Sudan or Myanmar. Absolute military anarchy is going out there. Then we have the Islamist nationalist regime. For example, the Taliban rule in Afghanistan. Absolute regime is sultanates, emirates, and traditional monarchies such as Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Swaziland. Key political, economical, military, and social indicators of instability, that is, the volatility in governance, democratic pressures, overpopulation, rapid urban growth, and resource depletion. Is that what we are looking into it? Refugee and displaced people, group grievances, the presence of minorities in a serious grievances, human flight, uneven development, particularly the growth of very rich elite and a large mass of extremely poor citizens, is what the key political, economical, military, and social indicators. Now, what about the economic declines? Obviously, yes, your forefathers were leading a much healthier life, much better life than what you are living, and probably your children are going to live much worse life than what you are living. So this means economic decline, delegitimization of state, the sense that pervasive corruption and graft make national leaders unworthy of their position, decline of public services, lack of protection of the human right per se, as the case might be. We are talking about what? We are talking about security apparatus, the military and the police institutions that are not professional, are graft ridden and liable to engage in power struggles. Factionalized elites. External intervention includes threats from outside nations, and as somebody is threatening a war onto you from neighboring states or ethnic group perhaps. So what are we looking? The top 10 ranks nation on failed index, and if you look into it, we have Pakistan, Guinea, Central Republic of Africa, Afghanistan, Iraq, Congo, Chad, Sudan, Zimbabwe, Somalia. All of this are the top 10 qualified to be a failed nations altogether. Let us talk about the average media consumption person over 18 and above. Total per number of hours is 3,000, 3,500 approximately, of which, and I'm giving you the data which was been illicitly presented, or should I say published by the US media. Television is 1,613 hours. Broadcast TV is of which is 639 hours. Network affiliated stations is 577 hours. Independent stations 60 hours, and so on and so forth as you look into it. Similarly, for newspaper, this is what I'm talking about print media, pure play internet services, consumer magazine, consumer books, video games, home video, box office, pure play mobile services, educational book. What am I stressing upon? We are talking about suppression of the previous status through haircuts, uniform, and the likes, and the recruit of deprivation of previous social status, as in we are neglecting the previous social status, culture, norms altogether, and probably learning new norms, new rules. At the official level, the recruit is taught obedience to the rules of the military. Through informal socialization, he or she is taught the culture of institutions. Development of solidarity is informal socialization and harsh discipline. Build solidarity and lasting friendships among recruits. They learn to depend on one another. Bureaucratic spirit, the recruit is taught unquestioned acceptance of tradition and customs. Orders are taken and given from morning to night. With this is of military socialization, it is coming from one particular person or a group of person. The power is consolidated at that segment. With this, I come to an end of this video. Thank you for watching it.